too quick to travel during these times.
Right. All this bullshit is a waste of time, in my opinion.
Yep, definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, give me 1 second. So does this talk about Jay-Z selling Kanye's masters or some shit?
Oh God,
I've
yo,
been hearing about that a little bit.
I seen that last night, and
Yeah.
I was like, yo, now now you see why Kanye been mad at Jay-Z. I mean, 6 albums, that's all his hits. When you have Flashing Lights and Stronger and Through the
Yeah.
Wire, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Amazing, like all those joints, Def Jam on. So they could put out a
Yeah.
greatest hits album with Kanye tomorrow, and he won't get a dime off of that.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Everything from Life of Pablo to now, Kanye owns. But everything before Life of Pablo, Def Jam has.
Oh
And
man.
I just think if that's true, that Jay-Z is a snake, and Kanye need to kick his ass. So that if I was Kanye, I would definitely kick his ass because how could this is like Kanye looked up to him as a mentor and as a big brother. He even made a song about that called Big Brother. And this is what you do, like to get your own masters, thinking about your own self. You sacrifice another artist's work.
Hmm.
So he have no. I don't even think he can buy that back if he wanted to.
Shit.
You know
Who
what I
knows?
mean?
Because all of this is alleged and shit like that. Who knows?
Right. Well, I saw that there was some dude that was some dude named Super Sly 78, I think, on YouTube, and he had like the contracts. He showed the contracts on his video, and it had like the contracts had like College Dropout, and then like the 5 other albums at the time, like they wasn't made yet, but they had like that was the agreement with Def Jam. So, and I always heard about when Jay-Z was over at Def Jam, and he had a Def Jam when he left with his masters. That was part of it, at that time, but that was part of the deal. Like he sold Kanye's first 6 albums to Def Jam.
That's wild.
You know what I mean? And I feel like, yo, Kanye's. This is why we see why he been ranting and the beef with Jay. Like he need to kick his ass. If I was him, I would fuck him up. Like, yo, like how could you sell my greatest work
Yeah.
to the man? You know what I'm saying? Because I think the agreement is he can't even buy it back. Even if he had the money, he can't buy it back from him.
What?
Yeah, that was part of the
Dang.
agreement. Like he can't even buy it back, even if he had the. And Kanye is rich; he have the money. He can't even buy it back if he wants to.
God.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
That's all his hits. Like they
All
can put
yeah.
out,
All yeah.
you know what I
Best
mean? Yeah.
selling hits. Yeah.
They can put out the greatest hits of Kanye tomorrow, the same way Def Jam Death Row put out Snoop's greatest hits. He didn't get a dime off of that. You know what I'm saying? So they can put out a greatest hits of Kanye right now. You won't get a dime off of that.
Mm.
You know, this is why people feel like Jay-Z is fake woke and he's all about himself. Even with the NFL, what has he done for Colin Kaepernick since he been in bed with the NFL and Roger Goodell? He hasn't done nothing with Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick, the NFL season started on Thursday. He's not on no team. What has Jay-Z done except for promote his self? I love Jay-Z. He's one of the greatest of all time when it comes to music. But I feel like his personal his image is a different story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like even with the Brooklyn Nets, he was associated with them and he helped build or help promote when the Nets came to Brooklyn. But a lot of those people that were living in the neighborhood got pushed out of their homes for the Barclays Center. I remember signing that petition so that they couldn't build the Barclays Center in that area, and a lot of people got displaced of their, living there for a long time because they wanted to bring the Nets to Brooklyn, and Jay-Z was a part of that. You know what I'm saying? Then he ends up selling his share of the his stock in the Nets and goes to LA and has a house in LA with Beyonce. And, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like it's all about Jay-Z at the end of the day. So when you have Kanye ranting at his shows about how you don't come, your kids don't come over and play with his kids, and you need to call him. You can see why he's been ranting for all these times. Maybe he's not crazy. Maybe he's speaking the truth, and people feel like he's crazy.
Oh, this is out of here and shit.
Yeah. What up, Kristen, Ronnie, Antoine? Ashley, how did you spend your birthday? A lot of people are asking, how did you spend your birthday?
Oh yeah. Well, I did that Q&A thing Tuesday. 'Cause I know I did that. Got a few phone calls from family, friends on my birthday. What else? Yeah, because pretty much during that live Q&A thing, I even unwrapped like what I got through the mail and stuff like that. Yeah, pretty much that was like all I really did do, because it's like my birthday fell on a Tuesday, so it was like, well, really gonna be partying on a Tuesday, like.
Right.
Yeah.
Got the club going up on a Tuesday.
Right. Ronnie said he likes to hear like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She got like a little West Coast look to her, right?
For real.
I had someone else tell me that too.
I'm waiting for you to pull out your red or blue flag and put it around your head, Yeah. I fell asleep. For people wondering why I wasn't at the Q&A, I fell asleep when they were having it. I didn't know it was going to be a 1 in the afternoon. I thought Reg meant in the at night or whatever. I didn't know it was going to be 1 in the afternoon, but yeah, I fell asleep for that.
Oh, I mean, there's always next year.
You know how Reg do. Reg be having listening sessions at 12 midnight and all that.
Shit.
Did you guys hear Ruth Bader? Oh yeah, something just came up on Yahoo News about that.
Yeah, you know what? Before we jumped on this, I was telling Reg about Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your think about Prince Planet? Reg, you have that album, right? Planet Earth? Or you plan on getting it?
I plan on getting it. Planet Earth, I have to actually listen to that one, because I know a lot of people don't like that one, but I always wanted to my country, because I have some joints like Somewhere Here on Earth, Future Baby Mama, Guitar, but I'm gonna listen to that one.
That's one of the very few Prince albums that's actually still available.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I know some CDs that I copped on my birthday too. I showed Reg some of them.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So we gotta have maybe Ashley could have a part 2 to her birthday celebration where she shows off her pickups. That'd be nice.
Oh yeah.
Actually be there for that one.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll figure that out. Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Ronnie said you look like Snoop Dogg with the hairdo. look like 93 Snoop Dogg, right? Doggy style.
Rolling down the street.
Word, gin and juice.
Yeah.
Where the Tanqueray at? I miss that 90s look. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, to be honest, I used to rock this look when I was a kid, but I had them them barrettes at the end of them, and them little them things they look like two things at the end of it, to put it on top of my head.
You got the balls at the end of it?
Yeah, like them barrettes at the end of it, and or ribbons or whatever my mom used to put in my hair, and yeah.
Christian wants to know what's the most successful Prince affiliate, Reg?
The most successful Prince affiliate?
Mm-hmm.
Sheila E.
Sheila E.
in my opinion.
Right. Good choice. There was an article that came out this week about why Prince and Sheila E. never got married.
What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Prince was a
Why?
player.
Why is it their business? Why they never got married?
I don't know. It can. I seen it online. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, Prince was a player.
I did not know that.
He had many women. I
Know
think
that
that's why.
at all.
Because Prince did propose to her on stage and shit too.
And she said no.
She actually said yes, but she said around that time Prince was in a dark place and shit like that.
Yeah.
How would she know?
She was saying some shit how he started cursing again, all that bullshit.
He started cursing again. When did Prince never curse? He
Right.
always cursed.
Exactly.
He started cursing again. Would he take like a day off from cursing?
Cause you know that was around the time the whole Batman album, like Graffiti Bridge and shit like that.
That's probably like his most cleanest album.
Batman.
Yeah. As far as like profanity, I don't remember no profanity on that album.
I didn't know that.
Eric.
What's up, Eric?
Hey, what up? Favorite
Hey,
Eminem album?
yeah, thanks for those pickups you gave me for my birthday too.
Salute to Eric.
Yeah.
He's like Santa Claus. I'm like, when Christmas come up, I know who to hit. I'm hitting up the ghetto Santa Claus. What up? I got my Christmas list ready. Favorite Eminem album?
Slim Shady LP.
Marshall Mathers for me, but I love Slim Shady LP. I love his first 3 major label Eminem show as well. It was great. I'm always there in the time for me, Ronnie says that he feels like that was like his favorite affiliate.
I can't argue with that.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, we better go in about 3 more minutes. What do y'all think about Sheena Easton? She's not technically a Prince affiliate, but he did have a thing in her career too.
I remember what's that song? Something about the train.
Take the lovely train, some shit like that.
Man, yeah, I remember that song. I'm not really familiar with Sheena Easton. Wasn't Prince dating her too?
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh wow.
That's the only song I know from Sheena Easton. I haven't seen her in years. I don't even know what she look like now.
I wonder if there's like a most recent photo of her out there.
There have been a few recent photos. She kind of looks the same, but you know how white people age and shit.
Oh.
My baby takes the morning. That song is so catchy.
Prince and the New Power Generation. Are they like an affiliated group?
Oh no, because Ronnie said Prince and the Revolution or Prince and New Power. Revolution.
Yeah, Revolution. New Generation had, I think, most of the albums were underrated, except for Diamonds and Pearls. I feel like the stuff he did with them were underrated.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think about the Marshall Mathers LP2 album? Hell no, not a great sequel. I actually got that. I got the deluxe edition with the bonus disc. I don't like it though. Not a great sequel. This is why what people don't need to do sequel albums. We don't need it. Raekwon is still the one to come out with like a great sequel to his original.
Yeah.
Remember the White Cliffs of Carnival 2?
Oh hell no. Hell no. Carnival. I think I seen it on Amazon for like $1. That's how bad it is.
Wow.
Yeah. Not good.
The sweetest I love.
Oh God.
He milked that whole concept. Like you have the prequel Juve. He got Carnival 3. How many times can you milk the Carnival? Like you know it's your best album ever as a solo artist. He just milked that whole concept. I didn't care for it. None of his albums really. I mean, other than I like Preacher's Son. Preacher's Son was slept on, but Masquerade and all those other, I didn't care for those albums.
It seems like the Fugees, man. They only have one good album, and after that, it's like take your choice.
Like Usher was supposed to be doing Confessions too. I don't know if it's still coming out. I know he's dropping new songs.
Oh, that was
Wait.
It's still coming out?
makes sense though. Don't you already? I mean, he already came out with a song titled "Confessions," which was in part 2 when he
Right.
did it. So it would seem redundant for him to do that again.
I mean, I know he has a new song out. He's been dropping new singles. I don't know if it's still gonna be called
Yeah,
Confessions 2.
yeah, I know. I know one song that I heard on the radio getting played a lot. "Don't Waste My Time" featuring LMA.
Yeah, I like that one. There's a video for that.
Yeah, I like that song. I know he
Yeah,
even has a video for that too, and I've seen the
yeah.
video as well.
But I mean, I'm not expecting it to be a great album. Usher hasn't given us a classic in years.
Really,
You know, I mean, Raymond versus Raymond, I don't consider it a classic though.
I love Raymond versus Raymond.
Favorite De La song.
Ooh, that's a
Uh,
nice question.
it's a lot. Oodles of O's, Roller Skating Jamming Saturday, Buddy, Myself and I, Business. It's a lot of songs I like from them.
Millie pulled a pistol on Santa,
Great song.
and they said hip hop don't make good Christmas songs.
Mm.
But I'm ready to start whenever y'all are.
Let's go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Hip Hop Review. This your boy Reg in the building. Got my boy Try with me.
What up?
Got my girl Ash with me.
That's good.
And this is like a re-review of Stevie Wonder's Hotter Than July. This was released in 1980 on under Timbaland, which was on the Motown, of course. Um, Part of the whole Motown month and stuff like that and stuff. Pretty much the singles album was known for was Master Blaster Jammin', Lately, Happy Birthday, and I want to say All I Do was a single. I want to say producer Stevie Wonder, he produced his whole album, of course. Um, it does not have any guest appearances, but it does have some background vocals, which you have Angela Winbush, Susan Green Brown, and this is just to name a few. Eddie Levert and Walter Williams of the OJs, Michael Jackson, Betty Wright.
Michael was in here?
Yeah,
What?
Oh
I'm
shit.
gonna get to that. Betty White, Ronnie Wilson, and Charles Wilson with the Gap Band. Sarita Wright, Melody McCulley. You got Hank Red on sax, Nathan Watts on bass guitar. Yeah, man. But yeah, so this album came 1 year after Journey Through the Lives of Plants and stuff like that. And that album I talked about, I liked it, but at the time people did not like it and
Right.
stuff like that. And the reason why people did not like it was because it came right after songs, 3 years after Songs in the Key of Life, and that album was pretty much like, how can I put this? It was a document. It was a soundtrack to a documentary, and so a lot of people refer to the album as commonly that album where Stevie was talking to plants or he sang love songs to plants. But in a weird way, I've always felt like that album was very ahead of its time. It was it was very ahead of its time and shit like that because it had like a new age feel to it and stuff like that. And I know it's like compared to like what a lot of people were doing in this day and age and shit like that. I honestly can say that that album was way underrated. Is it a classic album? No, and this is where it gets tricky because it seems like when people talk about Stevie Wonder a lot, they always refer to like his classic period for my diehard music fans and shit. From like where I'm coming from, all the way. No, actually, not. Excuse me. Music on My Mind, all the way up to Songs in the Key of Life, and it's like with Songs in the Key of Life, it just ends right there. But at the same time, I always felt like he always had quality shit post
Right.
song
Right.
like that. He had a few like good albums, like In Square Circle, a few okay albums like, the Characters album from '87, and then he might surprise y'all like for A Time for Love that dropped in '05. But to me, whenever people talk about neglected Stevie albums, this always comes in front of my mind because I would even put this with this classic period. Like hell, there's even some album I like. This album I like more than a few albums from this classic period, to be honest, and that's surprising because like this with this album too in 1980, in order to like reintroduce himself to this new decade and stuff like that. What song did he come out with this Jackson that stayed in Motown? We've talked about the song all the time, and that's Let's Get Serious for Jermaine Jackson's album of the same name. Which
He wrote that for Jermaine?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I remember you mentioning that before.
Let's get serious.
And that's a big hit for Jermaine.
Yeah, man. Shit. And so like I said, I do have that album, which I probably will never talk about that album, but never say never because I said the same thing about the Dynamite album. But yeah, man. And so in 1980, when we talking about, also I forgot to mention he produced Smokey Robinson's. He helped produce Smokey Robinson's Warm Thoughts album from 1982, which that's an album I have to re-listen to again. And so also, the most importantly, he dedicated this album to Martin Luther King Jr. because he actually met Martin Luther King in 1967, a year before he got assassinated.
Yeah.
And he felt like, around this time in 1980, the world was hotter than July and stuff like that. And so he was in the campaign to make Martin Luther King's birthday a national holiday. However, people like, Reagan, like a lot of politicians did not want to see that happen, but he was like really the forefront. So if you think about it, if it wasn't for Stevie, then we would not have, Martin Luther King Day and the song Happy Birthday, which the most I have to say this, the most famous Happy Birthday rendition, even more than the original.
Yep.
Because whenever it comes to like, black people and shit like that, and I'm not trying to be funny, whenever it comes to black people, I always sing that rendition of Happy Birthday.
Yep.
And like I said, all came from this album.
Right.
Like I said, why isn't this album not considered part of his classic period or get the recognition? Because I also compare this album, like when it comes to like other albums, like David Bowie's The Scary Monsters album, which ironically came out in 1980. Because when people talk about his classic period, people sometimes like to mention Hunky Dory up to the larger joint, or they like to leave out Scary Monsters on occasion too. So it's just something I've always wanted to figure out. And so while you listen to this album, just like examining everything, I always love this album cover. Very dope album cover.
Yes.
Like this was around the time he started rocking the braids and shit like that.
And you see the sweat dripping on his forehead and all that. And nice artwork. Very nice illustration.
Yeah, probably my favorite album artwork he's ever done. And that's saying a lot too. But at the same time, it's Stevie. When has Stevie ever disappointed us and shit?
Right. And then like the piano was like the flames coming from the piano.
Yep, that shit's hot. That shit's hot.
Definitely.
So this album has 10 songs. So let's get this shit started. Track number 1, Did I Hear You Say You Love Me? Pretty cool way to start off the album and stuff like that. Very up-tempo track. Stevie just doing his thing, I always love his singing on this track right here. Very, very, very dope track. Nice way to begin the album.
definitely a great way to start the album off. It has like a disco feel to it, real funky track. I like the beat. I like the bass line. The horns on it is nice, nice touch to that. Stevie singing because it's been standing. I've been standing on the outside trying to get on the inside, and I it's a song where he's like singing about to a woman that you know um open up your love to me and let me in. Basically, is what I got from the song, and I like it. I think it was definitely a dope song.
Definitely.
Did I hear you say you love me? Yeah, it was definitely a good way to begin the album off. It definitely has those disco vibes during, of course, the '70s. But I know during that time, everyone claimed that disco was dead. So, but to me, I guess Stevie had a different way of putting it with this song here, and I'll admit it was very upbeat, and just the instrumentation being used was incredible and an all around good song.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys mentioned like the disco-ish of this track because I never really considered this track like a disco feel to it, but with the post disco, like where people like refer dance music after disco music and shit like that, post disco, which I don't even like that title
Yeah,
because that it kind of reminds me a lot of some of the tracks kind of remind me of the Jackson's Triumph album, which ironically that album was dropped in 1982. Like 1980 was just a dope year for R&B, pretty much and shit. So we gotta talk about Triumph one day.
Yes.
If you gotta talk about Triumph, I'm ready for that review. But yeah, so nice observations and shit. And it's kind of crazy because if you have the CD version, it just skips right into All I Do, and like the transition to All I Do is just like a dun 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 dun. I always noticed that shit too, which I thought that was kind of unique. But
yeah.
All I Do is pretty much like the next track off this album. Little trivia: he wrote this track for Tammy Terrell, which there's a version with Tammy Terrell that she
Oh,
yeah in 1966, 67, which Motown did not promote, but
oh.
it's a story for the day.
Mm,
Are y'all ready to have your mind blown right quick?
Hmm.
So this track has background
yeah.
vocals from Betty White, rest in peace, Eddie Levert, Walter from the OJ's 2, and Michael Jackson.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And if you really hear Walter Williams,
Wow.
to be exact, and if you really hear the hook, like the All I Do, you can really hear Michael's voice clearly. Then everybody gets shit like that. It's
Gotta
very,
hear that again.
Oh,
but
wow.
yeah, I love this track right here. This is, believe it or not, this is the track that made me want to get the album
Right.
stuff too because I heard this track a lot when I was little and stuff, and I was always trying to figure to myself what is the name of that track? What
Right.
is that track? But then when I heard the album before I bought it on Amazon, like, and this was like one of the first albums I bought from Amazon too. So
Nice.
yeah,
Ever?
and so I heard the track and I was like, yo, this track is fire. Very catchy track. Um, Probably my second favorite track off this album and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I love the line where he says, "Baby, you just suppose I should happen to cross your mind, and by some chance, a boy like me, you've really been trying to find. Well, let me tell you, girl, think of how exciting it would be if you should discover you feel like me." Like I just love how clearly those lines are and shit like that. Very very dope track. Classic.
Definitely a great song. Real melodic, real funky. Again, it has like a disco feel to it.
Hmm.
Um, Stevie singing, I light a candle every day and pray you always feel this way and pray our love will forever be new. And yeah, definitely a beautifully sung by Stevie. Was also sampled by Wale for the breakup song from forgot the mixtape all more about nothing, not more about nothing. One of those more about nothing mixtapes he did with the whole Seinfeld
Yeah.
concept. That was like I believe I want to say like that's like his first big hit, you know, before he signed with MMG. And I remember that song in the video, for the Wale song, and I always liked that song from Wale. And yeah, he sampled that on here, and it has a nice little saxophone solo.
Ooh.
Well, definitely a classic song.
Yeah, all I do. This is one of the songs by Steve I've heard getting played a lot on the local radio stations where I am. They would play this song a lot and a few others of his, but definitely this one stood out to me. But yeah, I had no idea that what Reg just mentioned, like all them people who sang background on this song,
Right,
that that was surprising to me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like this
Yeah.
whole album, like you can definitely tell the love for Stevie around this, and like that, when it comes like the '80s and shit, like Stevie was just like American icon by that time and shit like that.
right,
So
Hmm.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. This is definitely one of my favorite Stevie songs of all time, and yeah, it is just very upbeat and catchy, and even the chorus, everything about this song was just perfect.
yeah, man, it's like that perfect Stevie song and shit like that. So I definitely love this track heavily. Track number 3, man, Rocket Love. Whew, where do I begin with this track? For one, this is like my favorite track off this album and shit like that. Probably one of his darkest and most introspective songs and stuff. Um, when it comes to Rocket Love from Stevie and shit like that, it's pretty much just talking about like the breakup of a relationship, and I love how he emphasizes like the cold, cold world and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's actually one of the few Stevie Wonder songs where he actually curses. Where if you really listen closely towards like the last couple of choruses, he says, "But at a half a mile from heaven, you drop my black ass down to this cold, cold world and shit like that." And it's just like
Mm,
Stevie's cursing. That's
yeah,
wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't as heavy as when Michael said, "I'm taking your shit off the. This time is right." But the way Stevie said it was like he was slick with it and shit, you know. And fucking Wu Tang, man, just sampled this beautifully for
mm,
Cold World
right.
off the Liquid Swords album, which is ironically my favorite joint off Liquid Swords too. So
Classic.
yeah, man. And I've heard this track covered, sampled other times too, but
Mm,
man, this the way how Stevie just sings on this track and shit like that. The imagery and the lyrics, like just the line where he says, "A female Shakespeare of your time will looks to blow Picasso's mind." Like who thinks of shit like that, man? Like
Only him.
yeah, like symphonies by Bach or Brahms. I mean, this is just a classic, classic, classic song. Um, yeah, man. Also, if y'all from all my deep blue heads, check out the Cold World remix with D'Angelo.
mm-hmm.
Fire,
That's dope.
fire.
I love it. Definitely a melodic track, real nice to beat. Um, yeah, like just a sample classic song, and made another classic itself with that with Cold World, and Stevie sung it beautifully. And I love the chorus, riding in your rocket, you save me and stop. About half a mile from heaven, you drop me down back into the world, cold world. I love that chorus, and it's just a dope ass song. Like it's definitely like Reg mentioned about like the lyrics and him talking about the female being Shakespeare and with looks to blow Picasso's mind. Definitely a real poetic lines by Stevie. Definitely one of the best on here. Classic song.
Yeah, I'll admit, Rocket Love, it was definitely something I really wasn't expecting Stevie to put out there. And the fact that he curses on the song, and I'm like, when have we ever heard this man curse on an album in our lifetimes? Like, come on. I'm like, wow, okay. He wasn't holding nothing back on this song here, but yeah, it definitely is a song that I guess pretty much everyone can relate to, I guess, going through the end stages of a relationship in that aspect or another. But just his interpretation of Rocket Love, it was just something that, I don't know, not a lot of people were really expecting to come out of him during that time. But yeah, definitely an all around good song.
Yeah, man. Like, and just one more thing I have to say about Rocket Love. There's this one performance he did in '95, the Natural Wonder Live um tour, a live album and shit like that. Much recommended too, because that's another dope version of the track and shit. So that's Stevie Wonder with that Rocket Love. And like I said before, if y'all want to hear Stevie curse, just pay attention to that track right there. Um, Track number 4, I Ain't Gonna Stand For It. When I first heard this track, to believe it or not, I really didn't know what to think because he had like that country accent and stuff like that. Just talking about like injustice, but now I love the track, like especially like that whole chorus and stuff like that. I ain't gonna stand for it. I feel like the track right here is definitely relevant today. Also, Charlie and Ronnie Wilson, rest in peace to Ronnie Wilson, by the way, they did backing vocals on this track right here too. So, and I also love that one Bernie Mac episode where Vanessa was trying to learn how to drive, and I think somehow, some way, Bernie got blinded and shit like that. He didn't trust Vanessa, and he thought Wanda was driving him, but it ended up being Vanessa. I always love how they use that song in that episode and shit like that, you know. So very, very, very dope track.
He sounds like Willie Nelson on this song to me.
Right.
You know, like, but he made like it has a country. It's given like country vibes, but it like he made it funky, so it's not completely like dreary and sad like a lot of those country songs was, and even like the way that he sang it in like that country twang. You know, don't want to cause nobody no bodily harm, but somebody's been rubbing on my good luck charm. And I thought it was cool. It was like dope. He was experimenting with another genre, but he still kept it. He gave that Stevie Wonder touch to the song and made it like a funky like country R&B type of song. I like it.
I agree.
Yeah, I admit I ain't gonna stand for it. When I first heard this song, I was like, oh my goodness, because it had like that country influence right then and there at the beginning. I'm like, oh wow, okay, Stevie's definitely changing it up on us on this album. Like that's what I got from the beginning. But throughout me listening to this song earlier, I see the message of what it stands for because this song definitely speaks straight facts, especially what's happening right now. So the fact that this song was put out in the 80s and is still relevant to 2020, it definitely speaks volumes to it. And I had no idea this was even a hit back then, but I'm glad he put it out as such, and such a great song with a unique flavor to it.
Yeah.
That's my best way to sum it up.
I definitely agree with you on that, man. That's like, and Stevie, man, he's just like one of those versatile artists and shit like that. Like any fucking genre, like he can really experiment with. Most of the time, it will come out very smooth, and at the same time, also have that Stevie imprint on it too. So, all right. Track number 5, As If You Read My Mind. This is where how I feel women always expect men to read their minds and know what they want. um, this is another cool track. I love the pianos, the key on the piano that was mostly used on this track right here. Um, again, very very upbeat. Like another one of those upbeat, funky tracks on on this album and stuff like that. Very very cool track. I love it.
Yeah, it was good. Like the pianos, nice beat, nice bass line. Stevie singing "Close Your Eyes Till the Morning." Close your eyes till the early noon. Get inside what you've been missing. And I want to say this was like the first song on the album where we hear him playing the harmonica. He's playing like that, like a nice little harmonica solo on it. I could be wrong, but yeah, definitely a solid track.
Yeah, I'll admit, As If You Read My Mind, it's another favorite song of mine off this album here. It's just something very melodic about it, but I don't think all women expect men to read their minds. I know for me, I don't expect dudes to try to read my mind. Like, if you just ask me a question, then I'll give you an answer. I don't expect you to be psychic, knowing what I'm thinking 24/7, because that'll be just flat out weird. Yeah, but I kind of wish Stevie would have had this song as a single, but because for some reason it just was like a feel good song to me. I don't know, just playing like one night or one evening when you're like cruising in your car or something. Just a feel good song, just to, I don't know, pass the time or something.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that and shit like that. Like, it's definitely one of those upbeat tracks I definitely love. Um, Now, probably like the one of the best known tracks off this album, Master Blaster Jammin'.
Mm-hmm.
Very dope track. This was pretty much like a tribute to Bob Marley, who ironically, he died 1 year after this album was released and shit. Because around this time, he was opening for Bob Marley when Bob was touring in America and things of that nature. So him and Bob Marley were cool with one another. And it pretty much pays tribute to one of his songs, Jammin', which y'all should definitely know Jammin' and stuff like that. Classic track, and this song is classic too. You know, him giving shout out to Marley with lines like Marley's on the hot box. Tonight there will be a party on the corner at the end of the block. Um, yeah, man, like fucking Bob Marley, man, like one of the all time greatest artists of all time. But I'm just gonna say this one thing. I hate when people say they love reggae, but they just only love Bob Marley and shit.
Right.
Which,
So many others.
for real, which like Jimmy Cliff, Gregory Isaacs, Peter Tosh, man,
Still
like
Pulse.
who?
Still Pulse.
Facts. Hell,
UB40.
yeah, UB40.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, Bad
Understood.
Brains. Bad Brains. They mix reggae and punk rock and shit like that, But
Right.
that's another story for a different day. Cause I might actually do a video on that. Just that cultural appropriation shit. But or one more thing, how people always associate Bob Marley with smoking weed and shit. Like,
Right.
but around this whole protest shit, you don't hear Bob Marley's songs being played and stuff like that. You don't hear people saying Africa Unite.
Mm-hmm.
Every time people talk about, let's get high, which I'm not gonna be a hypocrite. That's all I want to say. But Bob Marley said more than weed. That's all I gotta say.
Right.
Said more than weed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Shaka Demus, Peter
Mm-hmm.
Tosh, Desmond Decker, man. But yeah, man. This was a very, very dope track. Love this. He really emulated Bob Marley. Like, he went from being country to reggae, on
Mm-hmm.
Stevie and shit, man.
Right. Definitely a classic song, and I feel like it's a great accompanying song to jamming. You know, it's one of the. This is one of the like my very first Stevie Wonder songs, like listening to as a kid.
Facts.
Like hearing it around the house, and um, it was like his ode to like reggae music and a legend like Bob Marley, and it has like a nice reggae influence track, and I think that's what drew me to it because like my family is Caribbean, and we played a lot of like soca, calypso music, and reggae around the house, and it has that reggae vibe to it, with the horns and the beat, the bass line, and him singing, we agreed to get together, join as children in Jah with your moving in the positive, your destination is the brightest star. And the chorus, we be jamming, Love that. I love that quote. That chorus, and it's just a great track. You know, if anybody didn't know Stevie Wonder's music, I would suggest like this is like one of his songs to listen to. And like again, like he's experimenting with another genre in reggae music, like he did with the country song we talked about just now, and he made it funky, and he still made it Stevie, and it was like his ode to like that genre, and I think it's a classic song.
Yeah, I'll admit, Master Blaster Jammin' was definitely one of the one of the few Stevie songs I got introduced to as well. I didn't know he did it as a tribute to Bob Marley. I feel like that was a noble thing for him to do. And yeah, I know this song will get played on the radio every now and again as well. And it's just another feel good track. And of course, what Troy was saying, he was experimenting with different genres of music, of course, so that way he won't just be known for just one genre for his lifetime. He wants to be versatile with it, and I feel like this track definitely solidified that in a big way, as well as with the I ain't gonna stand for it pretty much because I know a lot of people weren't expecting him to do that as well, but it just this song really also solidifies that his creativity as an artist, and this is definitely one of his most unforgettable songs in his music catalog to date.
I agree. And again, another music trivia. With all this talk about the Clark sisters, I did not even know that the Clark sisters replayed this track for one of their songs in the '80s too, and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Yeah, because like I said, it was in that fucking Clark sisters movie that came out earlier this year, which was not a pretty good biopic, pretty much and stuff. And I want to say it was Dorinda, one of them sisters, played the track, and they were like, Mama went like that, playing secular music, but they were putting gospel lyrics on it. And a lot of gospel music in the '80s, they used a lot of R&B tracks, like in the '80s too, and we played it for the gospel song like the Truthettes. They dropped the song "So Good to Be Alive," where they replayed the Teddy Pendergrass track "Love TKO" and stuff like that too. So just a little trivia for y'all. Yeah, man. I noticed a lot of dancehall heads on the chat too. Eric talking about Sean Paul first two albums, Fire.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
Dirty Rock, I love that one.
yeah, I'm not. I like Sean Paul, but I'm not like the biggest Sean Paul fan. That makes sense.
Right,
Believe it or
right.
not, I became a fan of him when the Trinity came out. Believe it or not.
right. And even him has crossed over into other genres. You know,
Track number 7, "Do Like You." "Do Like You," man. That was another cool track right there. Is it me or the way Stevie was singing it? You kind of had an MJ feel to it. How MJ
Mm,
like?
the way he was saying the lyrics, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah,
all right. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't just me and shit. Like how Stevie like to drag his words on that track.
right,
I was doing that with the Off the Wall, like
right.
we're the party people night and day, or even
Mm-hmm.
the Triumph album, like, and this is Heartbreak Hotel. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, man. Like Stevie and Michael would just like work so closely with one another. They would
Yeah,
influence with one another and shit.
right.
So very, very cool song. Yeah, man, very dope track. A nice song to play in the system and shit.
Yes, I love the instrumentation on the song. It felt like there was like a live band there. Love the beat and bass line. Yeah, you hear like a kid's voice at the beginning of the song too. And I love the chorus. Show me how to do like you. Show me how to do it. The way that Stevie was singing the song, he was dragging his words out. It was definitely different on the album. Definitely a solid track on it.
Yeah, man. This track right here is very dope and shit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Do Like You was another favorite of mine off this album as well. It was just something I don't know, just something that really kind of grabbed my attention. That yeah, I didn't notice that the way Stevie was singing, like the way he was dragging his words, it was similar to kind of like how Michael did it from the Off the Wall album. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, because it's like, dang, it's kind of like they were kind of in sync with one another during certain time periods, I guess. But yeah, this was definitely an incredible song. I felt like it was low key slept on, in my opinion, but it doesn't disappoint.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. Most definitely. Um, Track number 8, "Cash in Your Face," another like kind of like a political track. I think the thing I got from this track most definitely was the fact how people would do anything for money and stuff like that, and it was just pretty much talking about don't sell out to the culture. Like I'm pretty just paraphrasing this shit, like what I feel like this track is about, but it's just how people always sell themselves for money and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like this track was pretty solid.
Yeah, this was dope. Him talking about like get people that have money and you might have credit, but the white man still don't want your credit. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like you don't want your money and I like the beat. It was real funky and he's singing on well can't take the time out to check your credit card because computers just broke down today. You might have the cash, but we don't want your kind living in here. You know what I'm saying? And that's still relevant even now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you can have like a rich person like Oprah Winfrey go to a store like was it Gucci that she went to and they refused her. It's like one of the richest. Well, yeah, they refused her. They didn't want her in the store, like buying nothing.
That's what she fucking gets, in my opinion. I don't give a fuck. That's what she fucking gets. All that shit she did it with Michael, all that shit she did with blacks, and knowing damn well Gucci don't care about black people and shit like that.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking gets. Fuck her.
So that just go to show you, like, if it can happen to Oprah, it can happen to anybody. We've seen that, other celebrities, they go to like the black actor that went to Barney's and he was turned away or they had an issue with him buying a watch for his mother for Mother's Day or whatever. The guy from Finding Forrester, I forgot his name, but it happens. You know what I'm saying? So this is definitely a track that's still relevant now, and definitely one of the solid tracks.
Yeah, Cash in Your Face. Yeah, I kind of got the message what Stevie was talking about in the song, and yeah, because hearing it and then just hearing what y'all were saying just now, like the theme of the song, it kind of reminded me of that one episode of A Different World where Whitley goes into that that store and the saleswoman was like giving her such a hard time,
Right.
and pretty much I know at the end of the other episode when the nicer salesperson came up to her and asked her if she could help her with anything, like, oh, I think you should ask so and so. Apparently, she isn't too crazy about people like me.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I kind of get like that too. Even though, like, if I was to have like all the money in the world, but still can't go into no well-known expensive store, even like, but I would never go into one of those expensive stores anyway, because I mean, for just like an overpriced bag or overpriced watch or necklace or any form of jewelry or whatever, like I don't need all that. Yeah, but I feel like it's such a definitely relevant song.
Mm-hmm.
And then too, I had no idea about that whole situation with Oprah just now. I'm like, dang, really?
Yep.
One of the biggest, well-known, wealthiest women on the planet,
That means
and getting turned away from people at Gucci.
Mm-hmm. And what did they do? They made what's his name? What's the guy name? The designer. He made him a spokesperson now. The designer that did the like custom make suits for like LL Cool J and everything around him.
Don Draper.
Huh?
Don Draper.
Oh yeah, Dapper Dan. Dapper Dan.
Yeah.
They make him like they he has like a deal with Gucci now. He does like his Gucci stuff in Harlem and bringing Gucci to the hood. But People don't. I don't think people really buy it though.
Yeah, because 80s hip hop, you was scared of 80s hip hop and shit.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, man, fuck Oprah. Man, he's sucking dick. She and Gail can have a lesbian adventure without letting themselves leave all alone and shit.
Mm.
But anyway, next track, Lately. Man, everyone knows this track, so I'm not really gonna talk too much about this, but pretty solid ballad and stuff like that. One of those heartfelt Stevie ballads that everyone knows. And I feel like with the whole Jodeci covering this track, which, to be honest, I was never a fan of the whole Jodeci Lately version.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, not sorry. I just thought it was like, that was a bit too sentimental for them and shit.
Right.
But I always prefer the Stevie version only.
I actually like the Jodeci version. It was I want to say it was they modernized it for that time in the 90s, but I mean the Stevie version is there's no beat. It's just him and the piano and you know I feel like you can't beat the original. So it is a classic song.
Yeah, I think the first time I heard Lately, it had to have been on an episode of Scandal, the show with Kerry Washington. For all those who know, because I noticed they played a lot of Stevie songs during the whole run of that show.
Right.
And yeah, it's definitely a timeless ballad that Stevie perfected beautifully, and it's just I don't know, something about that song that just I don't know that really resonates with people, and it's just something that I guess stands out, and I really can't imagine if he didn't put this song out as a single. I mean, it was just too good of a song for them to pass up,
Right.
Yeah, man, very dope track right here. And the last track off this album, Happy Birthday, the famous version,
Right.
dedicated to Martin Luther King Jr. I love this track, man. This is a very timeless track. Whenever anybody has a birthday and stuff like that, this is always the track that people mostly play, like for the culture and stuff like that.
Right.
It's an interesting history with like the original Happy Birthday and stuff like that, because people, when certain people play that, you gotta like, it's copyrighted and stuff like that too. So people are just more safe playing this version. And yeah, this was a very political track. Love this track. I feel like it's a classic, one of those classic Stevie Wonder tracks that just resonates with everybody.
A great upbeat song. Great way to end the album. And I like it. It sounds in the beginning when it starts off, it sounds kind of popish, but then like it picks up. You see Stevie singing now, it doesn't make sense. That would be a law against who takes offense in your day of celebration and just start making a whole to like people their born day. And I love it. I think it's a great song. Classic.
Yeah, Happy Birthday. This was the very first Stevie Wonder song I heard because I remember it was around Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, and I was in kindergarten, and my kindergarten teacher made us watch the Our Friend Martin movie.
Oh,
and then afterwards, she put this song on her record player for all of us to listen to it, and that was pretty much my introduction to Stevie Wonder. Mind you, I was 5 years old when I first heard this song right here. But yeah.
Wow, you took
Yeah.
it.
And I still know people. Yeah, Our Friend Martin. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I still know people who sing this version of Happy Birthday for their relatives or significant others' birthdays or whatever, because of course Black folks, we would love to do this version more than the original, hands down.
Yep.
And what a great way to end off the album.
Yeah, I highly agree with that. And those are all the songs off this album. Overall, I feel like this album is a classic, very good album. It's a very timeless album as well too. This album to me was just the peak of his creativity. I always felt like the album was very political, but at the same time, you can still play it. Like it still has those songs where you can still play like time after time and shit like that, and like those timeless songs. Um, must have in your collection for all my Stevie Wonder heads and stuff like that. I would give this a 5 out of 5. Very good album.
Classic album, all produced by Stevie. Great songs, and him dabbling with different genres like reggae on Master Blaster and country music on Ain't Gonna Stand for It, and I love it. Lately, beautiful ballad, Happy Birthday. That's like everybody knows that song. It's like an ode to people being born, and definitely a classic album. And when you have like Betty Wright and Michael Jackson on there and the OJs, and can't go wrong. Definitely a classic album. Also on the vinyl, like speaking about Martin Luther King, like he have like the sleeve is with Martin Luther King's picture,
Oh wow.
and on the back you see like him marching in like Washington and all that, the famous speech he gave and all that, and
Mm-hmm.
definitely like a great person. He was a great person for Black people at that time. Also, before we go, there's on the Eddie Murphy. Remember he did a skit with Eddie Murphy on Saturday Night Live. This is
Yeah.
on the best Eddie Murphy DVD. It was him and Eddie, and he did more than one. It was one with Joe Piscopo, and he did like the Ebony and Ivory song, and then he did one with Eddie, and Eddie was playing. He was Stevie, but he had
Yeah.
Stevie.
Yeah.
Those two skits are on the best Eddie Murphy. It is out of print, but you can find some sellers on Amazon or eBay that'll have it. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, this was my very first time listening to a Stevie Wonder album from beginning to end. A lot, like some of the stuff I already heard previous times from the radio, such as Master Blaster Jammin', All I Do, Happy Birthday, Lately, and this album was so incredible for its time, and some of the stuff is still relevant to now, like I ain't gonna stand for it and Cash in Your Face. Those tracks definitely political and still relevant to now. And unforgettable songs such as Happy Birthday, of course. And Stevie's always been the genius that he is musically, creatively, lyrically. I can go on and on pretty much. But I'll rate this album 5 out of 5.
Yeah, that is, man, that is. And I'm gonna end the video off tonight because I got a few plans I gotta handle and shit. But to let you go try, do you still want to do those top 20 video games tomorrow?
Yeah, if you're available.
Okay, we can probably do it that app, probably the late afternoon and shit like
Oh,
that.
yeah, cool.
And the youngsters is still this Sunday,
Yes,
right?
that's on Sunday, like 3 p.m., 4 p.m.
Oh
before you
yeah.
go to work. So that'll be early in the afternoon as well.
Okay, cool. I just found my album too.
Okay,
And like I said before, still no word on when 2001 would hit.
right.
So I might as well just go with my surprise album for next Sunday too.
All right.
And I know, thank you for sending me the Motown list last night and shit.
Yeah.
So I might have to make a few changes. I'll let y'all know by tonight too. Other than that, this was a
Okay.
pretty dope review that we've done.
Yes, I got this right here, Ebony and Ivory. Oh, forgot to show that Ebony and Ivory, the 12-inch
Oh shoot!
with Paul McCartney, Stevie. No, but Ronnie just mentioned it. I forgot to show it. It has like the lyrics on the back cover.
Right.
Yeah, it's still in the wrapper.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Paul did song with Stevie and Michael. He did
Yeah,
two
yes.
freestyles with
Say,
Michael.
say, say. I love that song.
And The Girl Is Mine.
Girl is Mine. Love that song too.
And you also
Yeah.
girlfriend for Off the Wall too.
Right. Classics.
Yeah, man. But other than that, I'm about to end off this bid right now. Hopefully everyone has a very good night, and hopefully everyone stays safe. This is your boy
Peace.
Rash for building. Peace.
Peace.